Hello, Jonathan McClanahan here. All right, this is a 2002 Gibson F5 Master model that a customer contacted me about, and he had some concerns with it as far as the those intertonal qualities that Gibson is so known for. I love Gibson mandolins and Gibson instruments in general, but every once in a while one will get through the production setting that that is just not up to par with the other ones, and he contacted me concerning this mandolin, and said he had some issues with the just like I said, those intertonal qualities, especially in the trebles, and he wanted me to look at it and see see the different scenarios of getting it fixed. Usually start out with something like that, with a fret job or working on the bridge, little things like that. A lot of times changing out a nut, maybe a little bit more dense nut will bring in the trebles. But whenever I first took it out of the case, it was obvious. I knew right off the bat what it was, and it literally was so heavy. It just felt so heavy. And I told him, I said, right there's the problem. I can tell you it's got too much wood. And by looking, just right off the bat, just looking at it, the binding was 1/4 of an inch thick. And I'm not saying that every mandolin that has 1/4 of an inch thick binding is bad. But the thing about it is, the 1/4 of an inch thick binding, and it had no recurve. And so essentially the binding is up to here, and then there's no recurve, there's no dip. It just went straight from the binding, just a little bit of a recurve, and then started graduating up to the top of the back crest. And what that tells you is that if that's 1/4 of an inch thick and there's no recurve, then right here in the thickest or the thinnest part of the top and the back is extremely thick. And I'd have to look at my notes, but right around the F-hole right here, in the F-hole area, it was 3/16 of an inch thick. And if it's 3/16 of an inch thick right here, as this graduation goes higher toward the cresting of underneath the bridge, that tells you that it was probably 1/4 of an inch thick underneath the bridge. And the back as well. And so it had major issues as far as no recurve in the top and no recurve in the back. And also cosmetically also there was some issues. The mathematics in the scroll was not correct. This arch was way up here by the edge, and just I don't know. I got some pictures that I'm posting. That'll be with this video to show you before and afters of it all. And so there was some cosmetic issues as far as that goes too that needed to be addressed. These F-holes were slightly different. So I went in here, and what we decided to do was go in and do a compound radius fingerboard, just much more comfortable with the playability. The neck was extremely, as you see in the pictures, was extremely balky, especially right here. All of this heel was, you'll see one of the pictures of my carving out that how much mass I took out of the heel of this neck, which also transcended into the overall angle of and the curvature of the neck. thinned it way down, made it much nicer. So, and as far as the recurve, put the recurve all the way in around, try to get that light to refract so you can see that. Let you see the recurve. This right here had no recurve. It went straight from right here and just went all the way over, straight off to the binding. And I understand that's over top of the head block, but the thing about it is, to get this to blend, if this was that thick, that lets you know how thick this was around it. And one thing too, cosmetics wasn't one of his issues. Whenever he brought it to me, he was happy with the way that it looked. But as I began to strip this mandolin down, I stripped it down, and I was just blown away by the curl in the back. And if you could get a good view of that curl, and try to move it around for you. And in the neck, and you'll see in the pictures below, the before and after pictures, the neck had virtually zero, almost no curl in it whatsoever. The rims had no visible curl, and the back had very, very little visible curl in it. And I'm just a big advocate of letting the curl show in the curly maple, so the wood grain in general, whatever wood it is. And I immediately contacted John, and I asked him. I said, John, would you possibly consider me changing the collar scheme of this mandolin to reflect this beautiful wood? And he was all about it. He didn't know that the wood was that beautiful, and I sent him pictures of it, and he was just blown away. He was very happy. So we agreed upon this collar right here, kind of an iced tea burst on the back. And so it come out great. I brought the curl out of the rims. Brought the curl out of the rims. Definitely the neck is just an awesome neck, and the back is just beautiful. So it came out great. We got the tonal qualities we were looking for. And the thing about it is it's still in its break-in period. So, and you know as well as all of you guys and gals know that whenever you even though an instrument is older, whenever you rework it, modify it, or restore it even, and you change or alter the wood, even if it's for the better, it's got a break-in period that it's got to go through. It usually lasts around 2 weeks, upwards of 3 months. And usually around that time it'll settle into where it's going to settle down. So, but I just strung this up yesterday, and thought I'd go ahead and shoot a video of it. But it's still in its break-in period, and I'm so happy with the sound of it right now, so I can only imagine what it's going to sound like here in a couple of weeks.